will be myself, Okie, and Mike Stang is going to kibitz from the outside. This is perfect weather for this class because you can't be out taking care of your bees because it's too damn wet and too damn cold. So this is beekeeper weather. I always have something called winter work. Anytime that in a busy season, anytime something comes up and I don't need to do it right now, then I'll just say that's winter work and I set it aside. And then painting hives, stuff like that. Bees do this all the time. Bees are never as docile as they are when they swarm. Bees are defensive animals. They defend their home. The top of your cherry tree is not their home. Yeah, well, yeah, so you're not going to have anything to worry about. When did you first see the bees? Have the bees just arrived? Or have they been there for a long time? Where are the bees now?
Now this is the perfect time when you're talking to people that call you. Actually send you a text with a picture. Okay, that picture says 100 different things to you. So this is the perfect time to do it. And nowadays most people have a smartphone that can send you a picture.
That'll give you an idea on size and location and if they're bees. They're often not bees. So how long have they been there? Because you want to know that they just show up, and so they'll probably be there for a while, or, oh, they've been here for 2 days. If they've been here for 2 days and it's coming on 2 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a good chance they're going to leave. You want to call them right before you leave and say, are they still there? How big a ball do bees do you see? They will always say huge, giant, very big. So I have found that most people know sports equipment and vegetables. And so you say, is it the size of a grapefruit? Oh, much smaller than that. Okay, now you know what that very big ball of bee is like. Is it the size of a grapefruit? Oh, this one's the size of a basketball or a watermelon. Okay, you're going to bring the big box. They will be bigger earlier in the day. So if they tell you it's the size of a basketball and you show up and it's the size of a soccer ball, it's probably because it's gotten cooler and they've started to compress. And they'll be the smallest at dusk. Collecting a swarm at dusk can sometimes be a little bit tricky, so I like to do it when it's a little bit warmer. How high above the ground are they? Everyone replies, not that high. Can you touch it with your hand? Look at your house. Is it higher than the house? So you have to you have to coach them on how to tell you what you want to do. Then you also have to decide, do you go on ladders? You don't go on ladders. A lot of people will go on ladders who probably shouldn't go on ladders. I always like to remind you that a package of bees is about $150. The copay on an ER visit is about $450, plus the time out of work and the broken bone. So don't let the excitement of the chase overcome common sense. Oh, okay. It has stopped raining. He's going to capture some bees now. Where's the rain cover?
All the bees up there where the burlap is. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you a swarm box.
I've got imagination.
We'll go with the cardboard box. Tape up the bottom. Put a screen in for ventilation. Okay, just cut a hole on it, tape it onto it. Now you'll notice right here that I cut out a flap. What I'm going to do, and also an arrow here, I'll explain that. I'm going to come over and take your white sheet.
It does not have to be molded.
Okay? Just spread it out kind of like that. No problem. Take your box, set it there. The reason you do that, in case you spill the bees, you can get them later.
They don't go down in the grass.
Now, this is an easy swarm box when they're captured when they're up higher. There's different ways you can make these. You can make them on a swivel and so forth. Now, if you notice that swarm is right up there by some wires. You have to be careful with wires. You have to be able to determine is that cable, that telephone, or is that electrical? But this thing will conduct electricity. Okay, so you have to be careful with that. Now, the thing of it is, you can adjust this to the height you want. You don't want it too tall, because then the bottom is good. You don't want it too short, because you're up on your tiptoes. So get it about the right height. Come up, and it's very easy. Come underneath the bees. Okay, you can give it a shove. Look where the bees went, in your box. Now you're going to hit it pretty good to get the bees to fall in. Usually when that happens, the queen is right in the middle of that bunch. You're going to have bees flying everywhere. So you come over, you come up, dump your bees in. And make sure they're out of the box. At that time, you can close this box up and tape it up. What I always do, that arrow pointing up, put that just like that or something like that. Your cluster is going to form on the top. Okay, so it's sitting there. They're going to go into the little hole on the bottom. You might have to keep this here for 4 or 5 hours, depending on what time of day it is. I like to go out between 5 and 6 in the evening to catch my swarms. That way all the field bees and the searcher bees are back. Any bees that's up here flying around is going to sense the queen in there and smell her. And they're all going to go into that little hole. When these hit, which you figured to be 9.5% of the bees, you come up, close your little flap, put a piece of tape on it, and pick it up and take your box. Make sure that this bottom's taped. When you get to wherever you want to put these bees, it's real easy with them clustered on top. Turn this kind of on the side, take a razor knife or something, cut the tape, open it up, set it on top of your hive, and then you can just thump it. The bees will fall in. If you don't have it this direction, if you carry them this way, you have to turn them over, and then bees are flopping around inside. It increases your chance of killing the queen inside the box. You don't want to kill the queen.
How do you know if the queen's in the box?
You will see bees flying around and start going in. And they'll also gather right here on this little flap and start flapping their wings. And that's spreading her pheromones out. You will see probably 100 bees that'll sit there and start flapping. That's an easy way of telling. If the bees that are in there start bowling out, going back up there, the queen is still up there. Now, one of the things you have to watch for something like this, if the bees have been there a long time, their pheromones is there. Okay? So if you get this too far away from them, they won't smell her down here, but they'll go right back up there. So in that case, sometimes I'll take a ladder with me, set the box up about this high, so it gets closer to where that was at. And if it didn't get worse than that, I'll take some BB Gone, Honey Bandit or something like that, and spray in that area because bees don't like that. And then they'll fly out and they go, oh, queen's down here, and they'll come down. Usually at sundown, you will get almost all the bees. Now remember, you can't get every one of them. You're not going to get 100%. You're going to have some bees that are flying around, and you tell the people to look at it the next morning. If there is something about the size of this, I'll come back and get them. If it's less than that, if there's 10 or 15 bees, those bees are probably going to go back to where they come from if they can. If not, I will go over and try to get them again. It's difficult.
How much does the whole thing weigh, about?
If you get a cluster of bees about like this, it'll weigh about 4 or 5 pounds. Now you have to be careful using one of these poles. If you get a cluster like this, it can weigh up to 20 pounds. Because remember, bees, when they swarm, they gorge themselves with honey. They eat all the honey they can. Because when they go to their new home, that's what they make the new comb with. And if you get a box full of bees that weigh 20 pounds, when you start laying it down, and it's out there, it's going to weigh 100 pounds, it seems like to you. So you have to be careful with that so you don't bang the box down on the bottom. If you noticed, I kind of slid the pole in my hands, got closer to it, you have better control. I've got a pole that reaches almost 25 feet tall. You have to be very, very careful with it. Okay?
And the other thing too is your pole. This one locks. Okay, it won't come undone. If you buy the kind that twists and you hit that thing and it collapses, you're going to have a face full of bees and they're going to sting you. So they're not that expensive. Like this one goes 18 feet. It was like $32. And it's just make you buy it. So they make them in different lengths. It makes it easy to carry in your car or your small truck. But the other ones that twist lock like a painter uses, not a good idea.
What are they called?
Painter extension poles.
You get them at Home Depot and the painting department.
Those, I would advise you not to try to do this on a ladder.
No.
Okay? It's not a smart idea because you got that, and that thing starts going this way, you're leading with it, that ladder's going to lay down with you. Okay? Don't hurt yourself on it. And another thing, anytime I get a swarm, I always wear a suit. Because there's nothing worse than looking up there at that thing and hitting it, and 200, 500 bees fall down right on your face. You don't want that to happen because they'll start crawling in your nose, they'll go in your ears. Set it up under it. Basically, this is hanging underneath, and I'll be shaking. All your bees are going to just flop right down in here. That's where you just do the same thing. Fold this up, tape it, turn it upside down. Where your flap is right there, and your bees are going to come into it. Okay, another thing you can do when it's like this, with the permission of the homeowner. Okay, where my stick goes. The bees are hanging on the branch. Ask them if you can cut that branch off. You know, if you cut about this much off, they probably won't mind. Take that very gently over here. Put them down inside, trim the branch off, close it up. You have almost 99% of the bees in the box. Easiest way to do it. But you have to get permission from the homeowner before you cut that branch. Here, lower, I've had them on a bush about this tall. So, you know, it's very easy. I love these because they're quick. You go in within an hour, you're gone. I've been on a couple of calls where at that corner is a school crossing. Across the street is the school. You put your yellow tape up and the kids, you get 100 kids right there on the sidewalk going, can I watch? Can I watch? You know, so it gets tough. What do you do in that case? Try to keep everything calm and let them go home. Even if you have to set them to dark. Because all of a sudden you don't want all these bees coming around. With those school kids there, there's nothing worse than having to answer to a school board or a bunch of irate parents that their kids got stung. And they're going to blame you because you're the beekeeper. You're the guy in the white suit. Some people may call you up at 10 in the morning and say, I want these bees out of here. And you have to explain to them that there's a lot of scout bees out flying looking for a home, okay? And they're going to come back during the day. And there's bees that's going out and foraging them and bringing food back. So you're always going to have bees coming in just about dusk. So you'll have to tell them, can I put the box here and leave it here and come back at night? Or the next morning and pick it up and take it home? If you go there early in the morning, just about daybreak, it's still cold, they're inside. They're not flying, so you can get all the bees. A lot of times, instead of dumping it in the box, you want to make sure you get the queens. You dump it out on the sheet. You have to be careful because you're dumping the queen out too, and you don't want to walk on her, don't want to kneel on her or anything else. If you go in with a queen catcher, you can catch that queen that's in attendant bees. Okay? So you know you got the queen in here. So you can put her in your box. You know she's in there, and bees will start going in. Alright? Now, over here is a bunch of different bee repellents.
This is bee done.
There's some of them that are pretty good. There's one of them. This is Honey Bandit. This is what I use. I love it.
Hey, wait. This one here is honey.
Honey
Bee
done.
done. I like the container. If you drop it, it dents. If you have it in Fisher's Bee Quick and you're up a little ways and you drop it on the concrete, it's going to shatter. This stuff is not cheap. It's like $25 for this little bottle. Okay.
Same thing with this. Use it sparingly. It goes a long way. The fact is that
It's
you
called
get it.
honey robber. Honey bandit.
Bee Bandit.
Bee bandit.
You get this on your clothes, you'll wear it home, and next thing you know, your wife or your husband's going to go, "You stink."
That's this one. That's why it's dope. You can smell it out of the bag.
It's honey robber. You can pass this around. You can smell it out of the bag.
Don't spill it in your car because you won't be able to sell
on
it.
my hand, just touch it. Okay. This stuff really is odorous, especially if you start using fume hoods or something like that, where you put a bunch of it on there. I'll guarantee you, it's odorous. You can have that back.
What are these bee bandits for?
I use them mainly when I'm taking honey stitches off my hives to get ready to go in and start honey. I take a fume board, which is, you put it in the sun, top side,
Yeah,
it's
this one
kind of
smells
got
good too.
plastic on it, and on the inside it's got felt.
And this one, it's empty, so I put something else
Put
in
it
it.
on there, then set it on top of your honey stick, and it'll drive all the bees down into your brood box.
But this one,
So that when you take your honey sticker off and get ready to go to the tractor, you're not taking
this
bees
one,
with you.
the bees hate it, so they run
There.
right away.
You take it and put it on a branch like that. If there's bees going back there, then the bees will go there.
Don't spray it on the bees. Spray it below them and they'll move. You start spraying them on, you're going to kill bees and then you're going to piss them off too.
Remember, if you spray it
Those
on the
goes a
bees,
long
they
way.
go in the box. What you going
I
to do?
mean, you're going to make them angry.
You'll run the bees off. You have to be careful with that. Make sure you get it on the branch, not the bees.
I'll put some on the branch above, and they typically won't cross it. They'll start coming back down.
If you don't have the queen in there with her pheromones, they're not going to stay in that box. So that's something else to watch. You know, I said watching the bees that get on there and start fanning. If you don't see any bees fanning, that means her pheromones is not inside. You'll see bees go in and coming right back out. So that you go, oh crap, I didn't get the queen. Where's she going to be? Did I kill her when I got the bunch? Is she still up there in the tree? If you see bees coming back to it and start making a bunch again, a clump of bees, that means she's probably still up there. So you need to thump it again and go. Sometimes I've had to work at it for about 2 hours to be sure I get them all. You want them to come in and settle back down. Okay, and you'll see them, bees all over the place. You know, they're swarming them, they'll come in and set. And so you can head it again. And then, you know, you do that as many times as necessary. You know, I've been there for 2 hours. I was at school one time.
If, unfortunately, you kill the queen, go ahead and put her in the box. She'll continue to emit some pheromones and attract the bees. Watch where you step. That's the other reason for putting a white sheet out is you can see where the bees are. Don't try to use a new box each time. They will build some comb on the inside of that box between the time that you catch them and you get them into your bee yard. And that's when they build that wax on there, they will sink it. So the next bunch of bees that you catch will say, oh, this isn't so bad. And I've had boxes that I've used for a couple of years. And so don't think that you should be replacing the box. Spend a little extra time reinforcing it, taping it on the corners. When you make your box and you put the tape in it, hold it up to the sun and look in the big side and see if you can see light in the corners. You want to put tape over the outside, because otherwise they will nibble through that little hole and make it into a big hole, and then you have a car full of bees. So those are a couple of things.
What's your screen made out of?
Wire.
It's a wire.
Yeah, they'll eat you the fiberglass for you.
I tried to find some of that.
I think everyone.
Oh, it's easy. There's some right here for free.
Supply.
Wait, I think this is a $10 piece you can have right now.
For 20. $5 piece.
They don't make it anymore? Wire?
Oh yeah, you can go. I went to the window shop and I said, we're having this event. Can you give me a bunch of
Window
scrap?
shop didn't have a little bigger coarser screen that I wanted.
Oh, no, I went to the screen shop. They gave me all I wanted. It's scrap.
Yeah.
If you get bigger
It's a
than
small
1/8
scrap.
inch, bees will start going through it.
I'm sorry?
1/8 inch. Because the next size up from this is 1/4 3/8. And let me tell you, bees will go through that. The bee space is 3/8 inch. So you want this window screen. Because there's nothing worse
Are you stupid too?
than taking this box, put it in your pickup,
I'm a random person.
and driving home, and next thing you know, you got 500 bees flying around your head. Alright, you're going to find swarms in the most inappropriate areas, okay? Somebody's going to call you. You're going to be on the windshield, or on the hood, or on the side of the car. Start presenting another difficult situation. How are you going to get them from there into your box? There's nothing to shake. There's no branch to get. You don't have a bee vacuum. Very few people have those, okay? It's something kind of special. So what you're going to have to do is take your box and somehow get it up to where you don't shove them down in the bin, okay? So you might have to take the bees and move them up on the windshield. Now to move bees, you take the bee brush, you don't brush it, okay? Even though this is instead of bee brush, you push them. Gently push them up. That way you don't run over the top of them, mangle them, kill the queen. So you just take the bee brush up to them, and they'll move right in your way. Bees are pretty smart like that, okay? You move them up. Once you get them up on the windshield enough to where you can get your box right up tight, push them down into your box, okay? You just push them in and make sure you get them all. And when you get them to about right here, you're going to start seeing those bees that are fanning, okay? You always look for the fanners, because that means the queen pheromone is coming out. That's when you can set your box up, do your taping. If you have to, turn it over and do the flipping. Yes, Mike?
Always pop the hood and don't start the engine, because a lot of them will get down inside and maybe the queen. That's the hard part.
You
start
have to
the
check
engine.
underneath.
If you start the engine to try to force them out, the heat will kill them.
When you get a box of bees in here, it's like putting a 100-watt light bulb in there. They generate heat in a hurry. So if you are out on a 100-degree day, what are you going to do with these bees? You're going to get them into that hive as soon as possible, or they're going to start killing themselves, because they're going to cluster up and they're going to start generating their own heat. And the next thing you know, all that honey that they've consumed is going to start coming out, and you've got one sticky mess. You got a whole bunch of dead bees that are full of honey, and you think, okay, I'm going to put it in my hive. You dump it, and there's just a glob of That's what it is. And you say, okay, I went out to save the swarm, and I killed it. So make sure your box, this is a pretty good sized box. You want as much area as you can in there. Some people go out with a box like this, they put 5 pounds of bees in it. It's nothing but a pressure cooker. And cook them all. Okay, another place you might see bees is right behind this gentleman right there on the pole. Okay, they can be down low, they can be up halfway up, they can be on the side of a house. And it's the same principle. You put your box under there and push the bees into the box. Another place you might find water meters. Okay? But they got that little hole right there on top of that water meter. They like going in and out of there. Usually when they're in there, they've already started building comb. Okay? So it gets to one of those difficult things where you're going to have to take the comb off, put it in your box, making sure you don't kill the queen because she's on the comb. You lay it flat, what's going to happen? You can squash the queen. So you have to somehow make sure that there's no bees on the bottom sides when you set it in there. You will brush the bees off and so forth. Irrigation box, where you have all those irrigation controllers in it. That is very difficult.
Flip the lid over really slow. And, try to carry it like a serrated knife. If there's comb, gently cut it off and lay it in your box, and then you can brush the rest of the bees off in there.
If you see some brood, okay, a comb with brood in it, look for the queen real close. And if you can transfer that queen into your box, the bees will come up and go to her. As long as you get the other brood out. As long as there's brood down in there, nurse bees will stay there and keep it warm. So you have to get all the comb out, then all the other bees will come out. This is something that usually I call somebody with a bee vac. So they can come up that night and start vacuuming bees out without killing them. And that way they get them off. Okay? But that's one of those things that you either have to know how to make a bee vacuum or spend $200 or $300 buying it. Right behind the lady with the blue coat, Linda. Turn around. You gotta swim right inside that good. How are we gonna get in there? You gonna take your clippers and clip all the way around and you're waiting if they're jumping up and down? Or not. That's one of the places that you need to be at. Okay? When you see that, you go, oh man, there's a $150 swarm out there. It is. If you can't safely get in with your box and catch it, don't harm it. Call somebody that can actually do it.
Can you vacuum that much?
Yeah. You have to get it. There's no way you can get in there and shake it.
So you have
If
to
you shake it,
vacuum
where are they going to go? They're going to go down on the ground. It's hard to get a bunch of bees off the ground, let me tell you. You know the difference between yellow jackets and honeybees? Okay, people call you all the time. I've gone over in little bird houses that they stuck around the yards, had bumblebees in them. Come and get these honeybees, they're all over the place. You go there and they're bumblebees. You go over and in the ground, you got yellow things. Real thin back, papered in the middle. It's not a honeybee, it's a yellow jacket. Okay? Sometimes yellow jackets get in there and there can be 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. And those guys, guess what? They're always aggravated. Not only that, they can sting you multiple times. They will hit you all the way up your arm, just keep going across you. And they hurt. I tell the owner usually to get a gallon of water, put 2 or 3 tablespoons of Dawn dish soap on it. It's free. I don't use pesticides. I hate pesticides. You can take Dawn dish soap and it will be just as good.